Welcome back to the show. I'm Douglas Murray, and you're with Talk TV. Joe Biden made his pitch to American voters overnight, declaring that freedom and democracy were under attack both at home and abroad. His State of the Union address was a broadside to his predecessor and to President Putin. There was also his ally, Israel, over the worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza, as he confirmed plans to deliver aid via the sea. Now, joining me live from Jerusalem is Israeli government spokesman Avi Hyman. Avi, thanks so much for being with us. What's your reaction to the comments that the United States president made in his State of the Union address last night?
Douglas, thank you so much for having me on, and thank you for your ongoing moral clarity. I can tell you that we welcome the move. We welcome the ability to get aid to the Gazans that need it, not to Hamas, not to have a scenario like the one we've seen where Hamas can just loot and steal the aid. This isn't really that different when you think about it. It's not that different to our ally, the United Arab Emirates, opening up a hospital, a boat hospital, to serve the civilians that needed care. So we will welcome any way to get humanitarian aid to those that desperately need it. And like I said, to avoid it going into the hands of Hamas, who are trying to destroy us.
What is it that the Americans could do if they set up this extra port? What is there that they could do that isn't currently being done?
Well, from a logistics point of view, from our perspective, we can get a lot more aid in. We've said to the international community for some time, bring the aid, we'll get it in. There's not an issue about getting aid into Gaza. The issue rather is to get aid to distribute around Gaza without it being stolen by Hamas. So if there is a scenario by which a maritime corridor can logistically work better, and we have indications that that could be the case, then great. We don't have an issue with that at all.
So where is Israel currently allowing aid to go into Gaza from? From Israel, obviously. From Egypt?
So we've got it going in from the Kerem Shalom crossing in Israel. We're checking at the Nitzana crossing in Israel as well. And then from the Rafah crossing in Egypt. We're up to a situation where we can check. You know, we've really upped our game. We hit a record of 277 lorries or trucks going in on one day this week. We can check security-wise, because obviously that's a massive concern. They're not bringing in weapons or things that could be used against us. We can check 44 trucks per hour. So the capacity is there. The ability is there. We also know there's a massive surplus on the Gazan side. There's about 200, as of yesterday, there's about 250 trucks worth of aid just sitting there. No one's doing anything with it. The UN aren't distributing it. They need to pull their finger out and distribute the aid where it needs to go without it going into the hands of Hamas.
Now, you said there was somewhere between 200 and 300 trucks a day going in. Lord Cameron, the British Foreign Secretary, has just said that there need to be 500 aid trucks a day going into Gaza in order to prevent famine. Do you accept that figure?
Absolutely not. This talk of famine and starvation, we've actually heard it pretty much from day one. If you don't do this, there'll be starvation, there'll be famine. I don't see it. I mean, I see pictures being distributed by senior Palestinian officials of dying children, emaciated children from the Syrian civil war. But I don't see any famine. I see Gazans throwing out aid because they don't want to take aid from the infidel. But I don't see any imminent famine. As far as the number 500 is concerned, I'm not sure where that number comes from. It's thrown around that before the war, 500 lorries went in a day. Well, that was 500 lorries, including all kinds of things that we're definitely not allowing into Gaza now, building materials and all kinds of other things that can be used and weaponized against us. I can tell you that as far as food is concerned, more food is going in, food, humanitarian aid, more is going in since the war started than went in before the war. So a lot of this is wildly exaggerated because people want to keep Hamas in power. They want an immediate ceasefire. And we can't accept that because obviously, as you know, Douglas, that would mean October 7 again and again and again. That's not my words, that's theirs.
Well, whilst I've got you, two very quick ones. Firstly, the talk that the ceasefire negotiations were postponed again with Hamas leaving the negotiations in Cairo. Is there anything else you can tell us about that?
Well, Hamas, our position hasn't changed very much for over a week. Hamas is trying clearly to kick the can down the road because they want to stay in power, because they want to try and turn this into a situation revolving around Ramadan. This war's got nothing to do with religion. This war is about our very existence. We're fighting to survive another day as the Jewish state, and they want to eradicate us. They want to kill all Jews in Israel and all Jews around the world. That's what it says in their charter.
And very quickly, Prime Minister Netanyahu has just said that Israel will lose this war if it doesn't go into Rafah. What is it that is expected there in Jerusalem about the consequences, both regionally and internationally, if Israel does go into Rafah?
Again, this is another issue that's been put on a pedestal. We've taken out, as you know, 18 out of 24 Hamas battalions. There are four, we're currently fighting two in Khan Yunis. There are four left in Rafah. If we don't deal with those Hamas battalions in Rafah, we won't win the war. Hamas will rearm, Hamas will go back to October 6th and continue on their path to destroy Israel. We can't allow that. It's like someone would turn to Winston Churchill towards the end of the war and say, "Sorry, old boy, Berlin. No, you have to leave Berlin. The rest of Germany's fine, but just leave Berlin. Where all of the leadership is, where all of the power is. That's fine. You understand." No. Winston Churchill wouldn't understand. And as my Prime Minister has made it clear, we're not going to, our objectives are to destroy Hamas, to bring home the hostages, and to ensure that Gaza does not pose a threat to Israel. We're going for total and full victory. We're not going to destroy half of Hamas, not 3/4 of Hamas. We're going to destroy all of Hamas and return security to the south of Israel.
Thank you very much, Avi Hyman from Jerusalem. Still with me, I have Claire Pearsall and Esther Krakow. Esther, what did you make of what we just heard?
I think that I understand, the support for Biden's initiative. I think on a public policy level, it undermines his position and his support for Israel. But I understand it's not a good look for the Israeli